So with us today in Prod 2, we have Dial Up here for our reel-to-reel CJSW picks from the library. Yeah, why don't we just start over here? Anything you find that you're happy to talk about?
I found a couple personal favorites here.
Let's go, yeah.
Yeah, I'll start off with this one here. This is the Coach Whips. Classic like proto band from the frontman John Dwyer's The OCs. It's like a sort of like caveman sounding like rock and roll band.
Cool. Very cool.
Really good, really raw. I love the rough vocals in it. It's just really fun music. I would have loved to have seen this band when it was around.
When were they kicking?
They were like from 2001 or maybe like late 90s until like 2004.
Cool.
Something like that.
Yeah,
a little while ago. Definitely recommend it. It's loud, it's fun, it's good stuff. Got two others here, both from the same band, classic band from Calgary, Women.
Big Calgary shout out on this.
Yeah.
Yep.
This band goes back a little while for me. I love this stuff. I had some friends tell me about this band and I listened to it and I was like, I've never heard anything like this before. Listening to Public Strain the first time is a wild ride.
Yep.
It's beautiful, it's ugly, it's mysterious, it's such a fun album.
It's a fun departure too when you view them as a pair, hey?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're so different from each other and they go, it's like a mountain range. It just goes up and down everywhere. So cool.
Any favorite tracks? Any specifics on
Ooh, on Public Strain, I love like Heat Distraction, classic one. Eyesore. Also, Locust Valley, really love that one. Guitars are so beautiful in that track. The other album, its name's escaping me. The whole thing is fun.
Yeah,
it's all great. Give it a listen. Yeah.
Yeah, no, great picks. I'm a big fan. We'll move on. What do you got from the library today?
So the first one I found was whenever I started learning guitar, I just wanted to play metal music. This is not quite metal that I was playing, but it's like a sort of chilled version of that. It's kind of meditative. I think the riffing on it is like the kind of stuff I like playing and like aspiring to. So if you just want to like chill out and listen to something heavy, this is a really good album.
And you said this was like one of the records that helped you get into guitar.
I would say once I was on the way, it was just one of those albums I thought was really sick. I think Gethsemane is like one of the ones, I think it's the bass riff in that, which I just think is fucking awesome.
Amazing.
And then the other one I have never listened to, but I am from Northern Ireland, and Ulster is the county I'm from. And this is the Singing Men of Ulster.
Hi-ho, hi-ho.
I believe it's just some lads from Ulster singing some old Irish songs. And it sounds like it would be, as we say in Northern Ireland, it would be good crack.
Nice. That's so great. God, is there anything on like the track list on the back that's like a local reference or anything like that fun?
Well, actually, there is a band that everybody should check out, which I couldn't find out there, called LANUM, and they're like a modern day Irish band who are kind of evolving old traditional Irish music. They're taking it into like a sort of evil domain and playing like old like happy Irish songs that had like evil drone sound. And one of them is the Dark Eyed Gypsies. That it could be the same one. Yeah. There could be many versions of that song.
Very cool. All right, what do we got?
I have two here. The first one is Offend Maggie by Deerhoof. Many good Deerhoof albums out there all sound like very different from one another, and like all the songs often sound like super different, but it's one of the first ones that I got into, and I was listening to it when I was working on a farm in like 2011 or 12. It was like a really weird contrast because it's really like spunky, like high energy music, and then I was in this like big pastoral,
it's like your work soundtrack
field. Yeah, it was like my summer soundtrack at work for a year. Yeah, I really like Deerhoof because they're like not afraid to experiment. They're not afraid to like do completely different sounds from one song to the next, and I want to take inspo from that in my own projects. And their lyrics often are like really silly and fun. And like a song I recommend on this is Basketball, Get Your Groove Back. It's just a song about playing basketball. Very pure, yeah. I like when you can hear how much fun a band is having
Yeah.
in their music, and I feel like they're one of those.
It's sort of like a childhood creativity, right?
Yeah,
You're
super
not
playful.
like thinking about rules or perception in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like it's pretty vulnerable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second thing I have is like honestly kind of similar. I think you pronounce it Chibo.
Here is a band I don't just like, I love. Chibo Mato.
But they're like a punk, like a femme-led punk band. I want to show the cover because it's really good. The album's called Viva la Woman.
Oh, nice. That's great.
They're also like really playful and fun, but like have a bit more of like an angry and playful energy, if that like makes sense.
I don't give a flying.
It's the best way I could describe it. And I've taken a lot of inspo from them vocally, because they have like really screechy, kind of like slightly blown out, angry but cute sounding.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fine line to walk there.
It is, yeah. It's impressive when people pull it off.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's great.
Yeah, so I was looking through and trying to find, I think, like, a thing that, like, binds dial-up together is sort of just, like, having a really playful approach to music making that is, like, not necessarily super genre-focused. So I chose 2 albums that kind of had that in mind. I did Gang of 4 and DEVO. Both sort of these, like, playful, like, art-focused albums of the past that kind of, like, blur the line between, like, sort of, like, performance art and music making.
Yes, for sure.
And really sort of, like, setting their own path for genre and, like, combining different mediums like film and music. Just also, like, not afraid to get a little bit, like, cheeky and political as well. And just sort of like redefining the landscape of like post-punk, punk, like no wave, new wave, and I think like I don't think dial-up would sound the way that dial-up does without either of these bands. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
When did you get put onto DEVO?
Actually, that's kind of funny. I feel like when I joined dial-up, I was like looking for like obviously DEVO's like in the air. It's like impossible to avoid all of DEVO. Like if you grow up with it, then when I joined dial-up, it's funny because I was like, oh man, like I've never really like done a DEVO deep dive, and just independently, I was like, this is a great example of kind of like the instrument like recipe that we have, and I was like, this is such good inspiration. And then I was like telling Tess, like, I just like went on such a DEVO dive, and they were like, oh yeah, DEVO is like huge for me when I was putting the band together. So I was like definitely coming through. Honestly, like my devotion my devotion is pretty new, but they're like great. I love like they went into video production and some of like the commercial work that they did.
How to ride a Honda scooter.
They wrote the theme song to Rugrats, I believe.
What?
That's a fun fact. That's
no
DEVO.
way. Oh, damn. So good.
They probably had a great time doing it.
Yeah.
Too.
Probably did, yeah.
Totally. They're also
Awesome.
like an art school band, and I feel like a good chunk of dial-up came out of art school too. So it's like feels like it's on our level.
That's very cool that you guys all came to that independently as well. That you came to like the DEVO
Yeah.
organization
Yeah.
as you came into dial-up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, last, definitely not least.
So my first pick is a band called Boren and Der Club of Gore. This is a 2016 release, I think. I'm more familiar with their 90s stuff, but it's really interesting kind of, I kind of call it doom jazz. It's very slow, methodical jazz with like lots of weight to it. And I think it's a really interesting experiment in doing more with less, which is super, super interesting to me. I love how long they'll just like suspend notes and how long like they'll wait between snare hits and stuff like that. Seems like a band you'd have to have a lot of patience to be in. But in a good way. It's very good, very, very fun and heavy. And then finally, I have one of my favorite records of all time, Maniac Meat by the artist Tobacco. This is by a guy, he originally was in a band called Black Moth Super Rainbow, which is a really awesome kind of like art pop band with a lot of vocoder on it. And then Tobacco was the spin-off for all the stuff that was like too gross for Black Moth Super Rainbow.
Yeah, the dirty side project.
100%. And it's got just like some of my favorite tracks ever. There's tons of really gritty, nasty synthesizer on this. But like lots of really great like kind of hip-hop beats as well.
On their way. Like breaks in a sense, or what?
Not even breaks, but just like that like kind of classic like boom clap clap
Just
kind of
really strong backbeat.
Oh,
Yeah.
so strong.
Cool.
One of my favorite tracks on this record is called New Juices from the Hot Tub Freaks, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Anything by Tobacco is incredible. He's kind of going through like a post-Aphex Twin phase right now, so if you like that kind of sporadic stuff, check out his more recent stuff. And if you want something that's kind of more grounded in hip-hop and backbeats, the earlier stuff. Can't go wrong with Maniac Meat.
Amazing. Well, thank you, and thank you all. I feel like I learned a lot listening to you guys talk about your music today, which is always like the best part of this for me. So yeah, thank you to Dial Up for coming in. You guys had a record come out. You want to speak on that real quick?
Yeah. Somebody want to take this?
It's a hot record. It's a radical record.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of music. It's also got some sounds.
You got music and sounds on your record?
It's kind of crazy. A lot of people said we couldn't do it. We couldn't kind of bridge that gap.
A lot of people say it's not music, in fact.
Yeah, kind of an anti-music.
Full
music.
post-music? I like that.
It's wonderful. It's available everywhere on all your favorite streaming platforms. Or also, if you like take an Instagram story of like you cooking an egg, you could also put that on as like a background music. I highly recommend using that kind of stuff, especially for.
That's probably the only time you should listen to music.
Yeah. Please.
I agree. Amazing. Well, thank you again so much for coming by, guys.
Thank
Dial
you.
Up has been getting a lot of play on CJSW lately. Like, you guys are in the charts consistently since the record came out, so it's a pleasure to get to speak with you.
That's so cool.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sweet.